Hello everyone, welcome back to my SAT math class. Today's topic is general facts about functions. I'm not going to explain today any specific functions such as linear function, quadratic function, or exponential function. I just explain general things about any functions. Okay, so I just give you three functions now and then I'll start to explain them. Number one, I'm going to give you f of x. I define fx like this, x squared minus 2x. And then gx is 3x plus 5. Then h of x is equal to 2f of x minus gx. I'll explain a bunch of things with these three functions now. Number one, what is f of 1? What does it mean? F of 1 means actually f of fx value, the value of fx when x equals 1. In the other words, y value when x equals 1. So just plug in 1 for x of fx. So what is f of 1 equals? Plug in 1 for x squared, that means 1 squared minus 2x, so 2 times 1. So 1 minus 2, which is negative 1. So we can say f of 1 is equal to negative 1. In the other words, when x equals 1, the y value of fx is negative 1. In the graph, 1 common negative 1, 1 and negative 1, this point should be on the graph of fx. One more time, if f1 is negative 1, 1 negative 1, the point 1 negative 1 should be on the graph. Number two, so what is g of negative 2? G of negative 2. That means the value of g of x when x equals negative 2. The other words, y value of f gx when x equals negative 2. So just plug in negative 2 for x of gx. So where is gx? Gx is 3x plus 5. And then just plug in negative 2 for x. So 3 times negative 2 plus 5. Negative 6 plus 5, which is negative 1. So we can say g of negative 2 is equal to negative 1. So negative 2, negative 1 should be on the graph of gx. What about next? Number 3. I give you f of x is x squared minus 2x, right? So what is f of x minus a? To find f of 1, we plug in 1 for x. To find g of negative 2, we plug in negative 2 for x of gx. So now to find the f of x minus a, we just plug in x minus a for x of gx. So plug in x minus a for this x and x minus a for another x. So that is equal to x minus a whole thing squared minus 2 times x minus a. And then expand it. X minus a squared is x squared minus 2ax plus a squared. Why? Do you remember the formula a minus b squared formula? A minus b squared. The formula was a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. In this form, a is x and b is a now. So x minus a squared is equal to x squared minus 2ax plus a squared. And then you have to do distribute properly by negative 2, negative 2x plus 2a. So x squared and then negative 2ax and then negative 2x has common factor of 2 and x. Take it out negative 2, then a plus 1 x. And last term is constant is a squared plus 2a. So this is the answer. But number 4 is actually more important than number 1, 2, or 3. It is a little harder. So I'm going to ask you, what is h of 3? Where is h? H is here. hx is what? 2f of x minus gx. So h of 3 means 2f of 3 minus g of 3. And then find f of 3 and g of 3 separately. F of 3 means y value and x equals 3 of fx. So if you plug in 3 for x, 3 squared minus 2 times 3, which is 9 minus 6, that is 3. So 2 times 3. What about g of 3? Plug in x, plug in 3 for x of gx. So 3 times 3 is 9. 9 plus 5 is 14. So 6 minus 14, which is negative 8. This is the answer. Sometimes essays ask you a little more than this. Something like number 5. What is f of g of 2? To find this answer, you have to find then g of 2 first. G of 2 is y value when x equals 2. So plug in 2 for x. So gx is 3x plus 5. So plug in 2 for x. 3 times 2 plus 5, 11. So that part is 11. 3 times 2 plus 5, which is 11. So that is equals f of what? 11. Now plug in 11 for x of fx. So 11 squared minus 2 times 11. So 121 minus 22. That is 99. We call this kind of function composition function. So actually sometimes they ask you a little different from f of g of 2. So another notation is f dot empty dot, tiny empty dot, g of 2. F of g of 2. Next question, number 6. How can you find g of f of negative 1? Same as number 5, right? Which value is the first one that we have to find? F of negative 1 is the first value we have to find. Plug in negative 1 for x of fx. So f of negative 1 is equal to negative 1 squared minus 2 times negative 1, which is 3. So g of f of negative 1 is equal to g of 3. Now plug in 3 into gx. So 3 times 3 plus 5, that's 14. So 14 is the answer. I already explained a lot of things about general things about the functions. Then SAT definitely asks you a bunch of questions about functions. So from now, I really try to solve quickly 9 SAT problems. Okay, let's go. Number 10. Gx equals ax squared plus 24. For the function g defined above, a is a constant and g of 4 is 8. And then what is the value of g of negative 4? G of 4 is 8. What does it mean? When x equals to 4, the value of gx is going to be 8. In other words, if x is 4, y is 8. So plug in 4 for x first. So I'm going to find the g of 4 first. 8 times 4 squared plus 24. And it says what? That is 8. So 16a plus 24 is equal to 8. So subtract 24 from both sides. So 16a is equal to negative 16. So what is a? A is negative 1. So we can use negative 1 for a now. And then gx is now what? Gx is ax squared. But a is negative 1. So negative x squared plus 24. Now our goal is to find g of negative 4. So now plug in negative 4 for x. Negative 4 to the square. 4 squared plus 24 is equal to negative 16 plus 24, which is 8. So A is the answer. The complete graph of the function f is shown in the xy plane above. For what value of x is the value of fx at its minimum? Its minimum. Minimum is lowest point y value. So maximum value means what? Highest point y value. So what is the lowest y value? over here, right? Negative 1, negative 2. So the question is what value of x, for what value of x is the value of fx at its minimum. So we're going to find x value, right, at the minimum point. That's the question. So at x equals to negative 3, it has a minimum. So B, negative 3 is the answer. It's an easy question, right? The table above shows some values of the linear function f. Which of the following defines f? Just to find that f of n. Okay, there are many ways to solve this problem. You can use slope, or you can use just a progging point. Today's topic is general things about the functions, so I'm not going to use linear functions equation like slope and y-intercept. I'll just use progging numbers. So when n equals 1, then f of n must be negative 2. So if you plug in 1, the value must be negative 2. So every single A, B, C, all choices, plug in 1 for n, that is all negative 2, right? Now, when n is 2, the value, y value must be positive 1. So 2 minus 3 is positive 1. No, that is not positive 1. What about 2 times 2 minus 4? That is not 1. What about 3n minus 5? 3 times 2 minus 5. Yes, this is 1. What about 4n minus 6? If n is 2, 4 times 2 minus 6. When n is 2, f value must be positive 1. But in this case, 8 minus 6, 2. So it is not 1. So only C satisfy all these points. When you plug in 1, 2, 3, 4 for n, then y value, the value of fn should be negative 2, 1, 4, 7. Only C satisfies all these points. So answer is C. Some values of a linear function f are shown in the table above. Which of the following defines f? Same kind of problem. We already solved that problem, right? So just plug in 1 for x, and then the value of fx should be 5. When you plug in 3 for x, the value of y, or value of fx, should be 13. Yeah, let me try to second point. Okay, second point, because usually first point is satisfy more than 2 answers, I think, at least, or all answers. So try to plug in 3 for x. So it is 2 times 3 plus 3, which is 9. 9 is not 13. 3 times 3 plus 2 is 11. 11 is not 13. What about C? 4 times 3 plus 1, that is 13. Yes, this is right. What about D? 5 times 3, 5 times x, x is 3 now. 5 times 3 is 15, that is not 13. So only possible answer is what? C. 34. In the xy plane, the point 2, 5 lies on the graph. I already told you in the beginning of this lecture, okay, a point 2, 5 lies on the graph. What does it mean? That means when you plug in 2 for x, the value of y supposed to be 5. When you plug in 2 for x, the value of y, it doesn't mean the value of fx should be 5. So let's plug in 2 for x, that result should be 5. So k minus 4 is 5. That means value of k is 9. So 9 is the answer. Gx equals 2x minus 1, hx equals 1 minus of g of x. The function g and h are defined above. What is the value of h of 0? What is the value of h is 0? So plug in 0 for h here. So h is 0 should be equal to 1 minus g of 0. And then now find the g of 0. That means plug in 0 for here. So g of 0, 2 times 0 minus 1 is negative 1, right? Plugging back in here. So 1 minus negative 1, that is h of 0, which is 2. So h of 0 is equal to 2. The complete graph of a function f and a table of values for the function g are shown above. The maximum value of f is k. Okay, it says the maximum value of f is k. Maximum value of f, that means maximum value of y, not x value, right? So what is the highest point y value of fx? Over here, this point high is maximum point. That point y value is 3. So k is 3. K is 3. That means we have to find that the value of g of 3. In the table, okay, when x equals 3, what is the gx value? 6. So that must be 6. Answer is B. The figure above shows the complete graph of the function f in the xy plane. The function g not shown is defined by gx equals f of x plus 6. 6 plus 6. That means the gx graph is actually came from fx. The fx translated vertically 6 unit up because fx plus 6 equals gx. So what is the maximum value of function g? The maximum value of function g should be maximum value of function f plus 6. So what is the maximum value of fx first? Maximum value is the highest point of the function graph y value. So here, that is 2. So maximum value of gx is what? 2 plus 6, which is 8. 8 is the answer. Number 24, fx equals to 5x squared minus 3n f of x plus a is equal to 5x squared plus 30x plus 40. And then what is the value of a? Yeah, we already talked about that, right? Just to find that f of x plus a, that means plug in x plus a for x of fx. So that is equal to 5 times x squared, plug in x plus a for x. So 5 times x plus a squared minus 3. Let's expand this, okay? 5 times, what was the formula for a plus b whole thing squared? That was a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Please memorize this. If you don't memorize this, you can use foiling, but it is better, okay? Formula is better than foiling. So in this case, a is x, b is a, so x squared plus 2ab, that means 2 times x times a. So 2ax, then b squared means a squared here, and then minus 3. 5x squared plus 10ax plus 5b squared minus 3. Okay, this supposed to be equal to this. What does it mean? 5x squared, still 5x squared. But second term is 10ax. But you say that supposed to be 30x. 10a should be equal to 30. So a should be 3. So 3 is the answer. So today we talked about functions, okay? General facts about the functions, right? So you have to understand what is the meaning of f of a. That means value of fx when x equals a. Sometimes they can ask you f of x plus a or x plus x minus a, something like that. Okay? So you have to understand composition function as well, like f of g of 2, g of f of negative 1. Okay? All these facts, general facts, always in the SAT test. Okay, thank you so much for watching my video, and then please subscribe and like and turn on the notification. Okay, thank you so much again. See you later. Bye-bye.